Well, it's important to remember the definition of sustainability. So we have the social, the environmental, as well as the economic component of sustainability. So I always want to point out there's three pillars. Some people say more, but let's just focus with those. Simply on the social side, it's still a profitable crop, and with increasing minimum wages as well as other wage laws coming into effect in California, it's providing more money going back to these workers. And I want to add that most operations pay above minimum wage. So as minimum wage increases, so does the new salary. So everything kind of jumps up in parallel. So that provides a return, an economic return to the farm workers as well as the communities that the workers live. So they spend that money and it turns over. When we look at, that's more of the social side. So when we look at the economic side, again, as I mentioned, the prices have been relatively good, stable in some ways, not as good as they were a few years back, but generally a profitable crop. And that allows for kind of a moderate growth expansion to meet demand, to allow that price to kind of fall in line with demand and allow a nice gradual increase that matches the rate of inflation that provides a lucrative business operation. When you get these big spikes in prices, that shuts down demand. When you get overproduction, then you see a drop in price. No one really wins in those peaks. They win on the average. I should say farmers feel they win on the peak, but not everyone wins. You know what I mean. Yeah. When it comes to the farming practice side, I think there's been a lot of changes over the past 15 years, 20 years, especially. And I don't think this is getting a lot of press. One is we're seeing a large shift from very broad spectrum type pesticides to very narrow range, small amount, small reduced rate pesticides. So we're moving from broad spectrum organophosphates and pyrethroids to narrow range spinosades and methoxypine. What's that?
More targeted approach.
Yeah, exactly, a more targeted approach where we're going from the shotgun to the sniper rifle. Yeah. And this has reduced impact on the environment because these are target very specific pathways in the pests that we're targeting in the orchard. On top of that, layering into it is we're becoming more accurate in our models of insect development. So we're able to know when to spray that pesticide, so we're not just putting it out into the field when it's not needed. And we are developing other or more economically viable ways to do sanitation in these orchards. So we're actually reducing the population in the orchard going from one year to the next of the pest problem, which then reduces the damage at the end of the season. It's important to remember with diseases and insects, it's a numbers game. So if you reduce that number going into the season, it takes longer to hit that logarithmic growth curve. So instead of going like this, we're now going like this. So we're stretching out that range into that logarithmic curve, and that's allowing us to reduce the amount of pesticide we need in order to keep those pests under control.